Hi guys, it's me, and I am here to do a tutorial for you. I've had a lot of people request a tutorial on how I've been making all of my scarves and cowls. I am terrible at tutorials. Like, if you've watched any of my cooking tutorials, they're just terrible. Like, I don't have the greatest camera setup. We have a GoPro, which I'm going to attempt to use. I'm going to strap it to my head and see if I can do that. But if it's too wobbly, then I'm going to have to figure out something else to do. But I don't have the greatest camera setup, so doing tutorials is kind of difficult. Also, I have kids, so I might get interrupted. And also, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a professional. I've been crocheting for probably like 6 years. I started knitting a long time ago. My mom taught me how to, but I really don't like knitting. I mean, I like it and I like what it does, like the outcome after you're done knitting, but with knitting, let me see if I have my sticks on me. Okay, so with knitting, if you're familiar with knitting, you constantly have thread or yarn on each stick. So you're always working with multiple holes, and you're always working with your yarn on two things. So when you lose a stick in between taking breaks, or you set it down, then you can possibly lose a bunch of holes. So I'm not a huge fan of knitting for that one reason. Also because it takes forever. Not all projects, but it just takes longer than if you crochet. I love crocheting because, let me get my crochet, this is my little bag that has it has scissors and all my hooks in it. I love crocheting because you're literally only worrying about one hole at a time. So that is why I really like crocheting. Also, if you lose a stitch, you just pull it out and you're dealing again with one hole. Whereas knitting, you lose a stitch and you're like going back. So my scarves and stuff when I would knit, if I didn't take my time, and I mean really took my time, they would end up looking like this. Like, they weren't straight lines, they were just like this. So I really love crocheting for that reason. I'll show you a few things that I've crocheted just so that you can get that kind of idea of what you can actually do after you learn how to crochet. This is something that I made a long time ago. I made this like 3 years ago. I think I was pregnant with Wyatt. My husband hates this. Well, he likes this blanket because it keeps him super warm, but he hates it because of how much money we spent making it. Crocheting and any type of hobby is not cheap. Usually I try to buy my skeins of yarn like when they're on sale or clearance at Joann's or Michael's. You can usually find a good sale for like 40% off or 50%. Right now I think Joann's is up to 50%. It could have just been on Cyber Monday though, so I'm not sure. But I ordered like, I think 13 skeins, 14 skeins, no, even more than that, because I'm making like 6 scarves for people. So I ordered like $100 and something worth of yarn just because it was like $3.99 a skein, which it's usually I think $5.99, $4.99, $5.99. I usually use Lions brand, so it can get expensive. When I made this blanket, it wasn't on sale, and I kept having to get more and more and more and more and more because it's okay. So this is folded in half, but this is my afghan that I made. It's huge, like it's super long. This is folded, like I said. This is actually a 6-strand afghan. It didn't take that long because I used 6 strands of yarn at a time. So again, that is why it's just so much faster. But this huge Mama Jamba beast cost me like probably $100, almost $200 to make. Just because I had to keep going back and getting more yarn, and I did my original chain way too long, so it's super long. Like, it covers the whole width of the couch, but it's not that like wide because I just gave up. I was like, this is too expensive. I love it because it's super warm. John secretly loves it because it's super warm, and I just like that it's the colors that I wanted. Like, where can you like go and get actual colors that you like? You know, like these are just my colors. You guys can see by my background. Like, I love greens and browns and earthy tones. So anyways, long story short, this is the afghan I crocheted. It can get really expensive, so be careful about your projects and don't assume that just because you're making it, it's cheaper than buying it. It may be better made because you're hand making it. It is exactly what you want because you're making it, but it's not always going to be cheaper because a lot of places, like Old Navy or some other place, usually either make it in factory or, you know, have little Asian girl hands and boy hands making it in some other factory overseas. Not all companies, I'm just saying some, you know, whatever. Here's some other things you can make. This is actually not the same stitch as this. This is a double crochet stitch, as you can see with all these holes. This is a short cowl. I'm not sure if I'm huge fan of this. I will wear this, however, with a coat, you know, because sometimes you don't want that bulk underneath here and you just want your neck covered, so this will be nice for that. And then this right here is just, I arm knitted this, which if you want an arm knitting tutorial, I'm not going to do it because it's way too difficult. I mean, I had a hard time even following the tutorial that I was watching, but you can look at them on YouTube. Literally, I just knit this using my arms. I didn't even use a hook or anything. This is just a really pretty brown, and it's just like, if you saw my Thanksgiving pictures, I was wearing this. And then here's another arm knitted scarf that's like thinner, and I wrap it around like 3 times, and it's just like a really bulky right here. And then I just knitted this scarf, this infinity scarf last night. It's a brown, it's really long, and it's really thin, so I can kind of like layer it with something. So I've made numerous other scarves and cowls for people, but I've already given them away. If you follow me on Facebook, you've seen all those pictures. And then last but not least, I made this cowl. It's like an oversized cowl, which I think I'm going to make a few more, but in solid colors. This, I used all the remnants of other scarves that I had made, just left over. I didn't want to waste them. So I just made it into a cowl, which in actual, like, person to person, these are more of a burnt color. They're more of, do you know what I mean by that? Like, it's showing up really bright in my camera, and they're not that bright of colors. So I think, I don't know, I like it. I don't care. But I think I'm going to start doing this with all of my other, like, remnants, make color block cowls, and if anybody wants them, I'll put them up for grabs on Facebook. But oh, I'm babbling. Can you guys tell that I'm trying to avoid actually showing you how to make these things? I'm just so scared because I'm not the greatest teacher, and sometimes I don't think I explain things very well. But anyways, this is a half double stitch. Half double crochet stitch. As you can see, it's similar to the double because it's got little holes, but it's closer together. I noticed that when I watched other people's videos or I looked at other people's tutorials, a lot of other people's half double stitches looked really loose and stuff, and I think that's something that you need to know about when you crochet a project or knit. Everybody has a different tension, and by tension I mean everybody is going to pull or knit tighter than the other person because that's just, everybody's different. And I kept doing a scarf and redoing a scarf because I felt like it wasn't looking like a picture that I saw. And after a while, I realized it was because the person who was doing that, who did that scarf, was a lot looser with her stitches. So it just looked more like rough and loose and kind of not as like polished, which looked really cool, and that's what I wanted. But unfortunately, I'm such a tight stitcher, by just, even when I try to be loose, I still somehow end up being tight, that my crochet stitches just become too uniformed, which I guess is not a bad thing, but when you're specifically trying to make your scarf look like something else, it is a bad thing. But so that's something that I wanted to put out there. So if your stitches don't look exactly like mine, it's not always necessarily because you did something wrong. It could be just because you just pull a little bit tighter or a little bit looser. So I'm just going to show you guys real quick because I'm out of yarn. Can you believe that? I'm out of yarn. You guys saw how much yarn I had on Instagram and like Facebook like last week. I have already blown through all that. So until my shipment comes from Joann's, which hopefully it'll come by next week because I have some Christmas gifts I need to get done, I'm out of yarn and I will not be crocheting any more things unless I stop by Joann's physically, which I don't know, John might kill me. If you're going to start out knitting or crocheting, I highly, 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 highly suggest starting out with only 3 skeins. Don't go overboard because if you decide you don't like doing it or you decide it's too time consuming, you've wasted your money and you don't want to do that. So start off small because you can always go back. I, of course, already knew that I liked crocheting, so I went ahead and bought a bunch. I also just picked, this is my old cloth diaper bag from Gap. This is what I carry all of my crochet balls in, and then also my crochet hooks and stuff. I used one of my old diaper bag polyurethane or PVC bags. It's see-through so I can see everything in it, and I just have like all of my hooks are in here, my weaving needles, and a pair of scissors, and I leave it in here just so that it doesn't stab anything in my bag. So I would suggest, if you are deciding to do this as a hobby, to maybe get an old bag or whatever to keep all your balls in so they don't go rolling around. Second tip that I have for you, if you're familiar with yarn, they're called skeins. Like one bundle is called a skein, and they come in these kind of long tubes and they're loosely wrapped together. always, always, always do not pull from the center string. There's usually a string on the outside that is tucked into the end, like the tail is tucked into the end very loosely. So pull lightly around until you find that one and pull it out and let it unravel from the outside, not from the inside, because if you pull from the inside, there's always, always, always going to be tangles on it, and you do not want to deal with that. Something that my mom taught me a long time ago was to always ball your yarn, because even though it comes in those little tubes, they're not 100% going to be tangle free. So if you're in the middle of a project and you all of a sudden get a tangle, it's just really frustrating. Also, if you ball your yarn like this, it's smaller. It becomes way more compact than those tubes. It's way neater, and you can just leave your little ball of yarn inside. Doesn't matter how many balls you have going on. Leave it on top of all your other balls and then just keep pulling from it, and it'll just nicely unravel. So before you even start your project, if you're an OCD like me and you want it easier, just keep, just pull that little tail end out of your skein, like I said, from the outside. Don't pull from the inside of the tube. And then just wrap it around your fingers and just ball it up until it doesn't take that long, until you have a nice ball, and like this, and then tuck the end and then put it in your crochet bag. So that is my tip for you. This is all I have left of my yarn. So what I'm going to show you guys is, if I have to tie things together, I will. I'm just going to show you the basics of doing a crochet. I'm going to teach you guys this stitch because I just think the stitch is really pretty. It's got definition to it, yet it's still kind of tight enough to be warm, and I just think it's really nice. First off, what you're going to do is, I am using a 11.5 millimeter hook. It is the letter P. If you can see that, you probably cannot. There you go, and I can. This is a plastic hook. There are metal hooks. There are, bamboo handled hooks. This is a 9 millimeter that I used for my double crochet. And then again, there's little plastic ones. I just picked up a little plastic pack because I wanted every size. The bamboo hook I actually bought separate just because I wanted to see if the handle did anything. They're really inexpensive, but this one I think was like $1 something from Joann's. So this is a P. See, I'm rambling, guys. I'm avoiding trying to teach you because I'm so scared to do this. First, what you're going to do is you're going to take one end of your skein. This large cowl, if this is what you want to make, is a really large cowl, which I kind of wish I would have made it a little bit bigger now that I think about it, but whatever, hindsight, my next one will be bigger. If you want to make one of these, this is going to take about 3 skeins. I want to say that it was about 6 feet. No, that's a lie. It's not 6 feet. How long was my chain? This is how wide it is. So your chain is actually going to be the width around the circle. I want to say this is about 3 feet. So I made the skein for this about 3 feet, and then I just kept going around and around and around. So I will show you that. So this is a bulky cowl. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. I'm so nervous right now. Okay, so if you want to make a scarf, like an infinity scarf, this is the same exact stitch. It looks a little bit different because, again, another thing is that depending on the texture or your yarn, that's going to cause it to look different as well. Like, see how this looks not as, shiny and stuff as this one? It's the same stitch, it's just different yarn. If you want to make an infinity scarf instead of a cowl, you're going to make your chain longer, because what the chain is, like I said, is this right here, this thing around. So you're going to make this longer. So this is actually 70 inches so that I could wrap it around my neck 3 times. So you'll make it longer and you'll make it thinner instead of shorter and wider. Does that make sense? Okay, it will. But you can customize the length and stuff however you want. But like I said, the more round you want it around your neck, the longer you want your chain. Now that I've rambled again. First, what you're going to do is you're going to take this. Oh, I should also mention this is size 6 bulky yarn. There's lots of different multiple things of yarn. So you're going to take this and you're going to do a slip knot. So I don't know how to explain this. If you don't know how to do a slip knot, I don't know. This is how my mom taught me, but I guess you can do it different. So you're going to wrap it around your needle, turn it like this. I don't know, this is not going to be good. Turn it around, grab your hook, grab the one that's connected to your ball of yarn while holding the tail. See that? And then pull it through and then tighten it. Did you get that? Another way to do it, which might be easier for some people, is I've heard you put it around 2 fingers, like so. Twist. This is probably easier. And then grab. Again, grab the yarn and then pull through and tighten. That was actually probably easier. So there's two different ways of doing a slip knot. Okay, so after you do a slip knot, you're going to put it around your crochet hook and tighten it. And then you're going to chain, which I don't know all of the actual terms to these stitches and how to explain this, so pardon me, this is literally going to be in layman's terms, but first you're going to chain, which this is, again, going to be the base of your scarf. I'm going to show you guys how to do the infinity one, so that way you're not going to have to get a weaving needle to stitch together the scarf. At the end, it'll just already be in a circle. What you're going to do is you're going to, I should probably turn around. This might be easier if I turn around, because this is the way you're going to be looking at it. So I'm right-handed, by the way. So you're going to take the one the end that's connected to your yarn ball. You're going to wrap it around, and then take this and pull. So wrap it around and pull through. So wrap it around and then pull through, and then wrap it around and then pull through. Wrap it around. I'm going to go get a little bit closer so you can see one more time. So take this, wrap it around your hook, and then pull through. See? And you're going to want to do these loosely, because if you do them really, really tight, A, it's going to make it hard to get this hook through one of the chains, and B, it's going to make your infinity scarf a little uneven. Like, it'll be tighter on one end and looser on the other. So do that very loosely. So you're going to want to do as many chains. Wrap around, pull through, wrap around, pull through. Did you kind of get that? So you're going to want to make as many chains as you want it long, like I said before. So this is actually this is the easy part. And I hate when people say, I shouldn't say that, because whenever I watch tutorials or I read tutorials, people are like, this is such an easy thing to do, or I swear guys, this is the easiest, blah, 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 or this is great for beginners. And I'm like, no, it's not. You're talking about chaining, double stitch, all this other junk that I don't understand. Like, this is not easy. Like, and then it just makes me feel dumb, or like there's something wrong with me because I don't understand what they're talking about. So, okay, so I'm just going to do a little one. So let's pretend that this is how long I want my scarf. Obviously, I don't want it this long because this will not fit anybody except for maybe Kaya. Well, here, I'll make it a little bit longer and make it a little cowl for Kaya. No. This is a long video, guys. You guys having fun? Okay. That was sarcasm because, of course, nobody's having fun. I'm, like, sweating bullets because I'm nervous. That's not long enough. So what you'll want to do is, like, when I'm doing one for myself or for somebody else, is as I'm going along, I'll put it around my neck and I'll be like, oh, no, that's too tight, and then I'll go more. Or you can actually measure it out if there's, like, a certain pattern you're following. But everything that I do is eyeballed. I don't really take this too seriously. So, yes. So, again, if you're confused, if you want to see it from this way, take my right hand around and then pull through. So, that's all you're doing. It's wrapping around, pull through, wrapping around, pull through, wrap around. And again, don't do it tightly. You'll regret it. Trust me. Yes. So, and I'll try to show or tell you as I'm going along kind of the things that I messed up on when I was crocheting for the first time and wondering, why does it look like that? You know, that kind of thing. Okay, so I think I actually made this too big now. So if you make it too big, all you do is just pull out links. Like I said, with crocheting, you're only dealing with one hole, which is so nice. So I think for a baby, a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at this length. So see, there's my hole. Just swoop, put my hole back in. Okay. So, for the infinity scarf, or for a cowl, you're going to take, now remember, this is what I had a huge issue with, was because this was not in the pattern book that I was following. You're going to want to take your braid, or your chain that you have, you can grab the other end, and then you're going to put, see these little holes, these little chains, right here? You're going to take this, and you're going to, I wish this was better, I'm sorry guys. You're going to take that first chain, so this first thing right here, you're going to put your thumb through it, and then you're going to put this little hole you're going to slip it over your other hook. So there you have end to end now. And this is, then we're going to start our circle. So again, take your end, and then you see all these little braid ends. These are chains. So you're going to take the one closest to your knot, and you're going to put your hook through that. And then you're going to have them up against each other. And you want to make sure, this is going to be confusing. This is where I messed up when I was doing this. I pulled out my first scarf that I did, this big oatmeal one, this one that I made, like, I think it was the first big one. I love it because it's so chunky. I wore it in one of my videos recently. I had to undo that. I had to undo the whole thing 3 times, guys. Like, I got like 8, like, I got this thick into it, and I had to undo it because I just kept messing up. So, you can always fix the problem, though, which is nice with crocheting. But this is the biggest thing. You're going to want to make sure that your chain does not get twisted. So you want it completely flat all the way around. So do not get it twisted. If you get it twisted, then it's not going to lay flat. It's going to always have a twist into it. So that is why it's really important to not twist it during this process. So you're going to have it going all the way around, not twisted. The tip that I can give to you is just always make sure when you're chaining or when you're stitching into the chains, always make sure to go to the right. Or if you're left-handed, go to the left. Do not pull from the other side. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So do not pull from this side, just pull from this side. So, alright guys. Okay, this is confusing. I'm going to have to turn around so that way you can see. Okay, so here is my next chain. Do you see that? So there's one right here, one, 2, 3. So those are the ones I'm going to be stitching into. So all the ones onto the right. So what you're going to do again is take your right or left hand if you're right-handed with the thread or the yarn that's connected to your ball, and you're going to wrap it around, and then this time pull through both loops. This is going to connect. See? So that's going to connect the loops, tighten it just a titch, and then this is when you're going to start stitching. So I like to just find my first hole. Don't worry about getting like a certain, making your hands look a certain way. Just do it. Just worry about getting the stitch right. So now you're going to take your yarn, you're going to pull it over your hook, then you're going to find that first chain, you're going to put your hook through the front hole. So now you should have 3 on here, chain over, so put your yarn over, pull through the first one, go over again, then this time pull through all 3. Okay, so I'm going to show you that again. Again, pull the next chain on the right side, not on this left, not this one, else you're going to get tangled. So go over the hook, find that next one right here, put in there, over, pull through 1, over, pull through all 3. So let's do that again. Over, find that next chain, make sure not to put it in this one because you already put one through there. Go to the next one, which is right here. So we already put our yarn over once. Go through the chain, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through all 3. Again, the looser you make this, the kind of cooler, kind of messy it will look, the tighter it will look like mine. So pull over, find your next chain, go through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Again, do not worry about what your hands look like, just make sure you're getting the stitch right. So yarn over, grab this next chain loop right here, through, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. Now if you lose your loop like that on accident, you can either stick it right back, but if you lost it and somehow comes like this, just pull out and then you'll see it's right here. And you'll put your thing back in. So, alright, so yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through all 3, yarn over, pull through, go over 1, go over 3. Okay, so hopefully you got that. I'm going to real quick just do this so that way you guys can real quick go through and then I can show you guys the next one. I can probably, now that I've been doing this for a while, I can do a big infinity scarf in 2 hours, and then this large cowl took me about an hour. It depends, again, just how much you practice, because it does get easier as you go. And I think the first stitch around after you make your chain is the most difficult, because you're kind of dealing with getting your whole needle or your hook through these little chains. And again, that's why I told you guys in the beginning not to make this chain so tight, because if you made it really tight, then it would be really hard to get your big hook through them. So I'm just going to show you one more time because I would want to know. So you'd go yarn over, grab this next chain, put your hook through the front, not behind. You want to go through the front. So put your chain through the front, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3. So there we go. Okay, so I'm going to finish this real quick. I'll be right back. So we're coming to the end of our chain. This is what it kind of looks like. Now, this is really important so that way it looks even. Okay, so see how we have these? I didn't twist. I'm all set to go. So this is my last one that I just did. And so I'm going to do another one through this hole. And then there's another one right here. You're going to want to make sure to get to this last one. It's kind of hiding. It's kind of where not is. It's kind of one of those, do I put a stitch there or don't I? But you do, because if you don't, it's going to be really thin here and uneven when you're done. So you're going to take your chain or yarn over, find that next hole, go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then you're going to get that last right here. That last link, chain through. Okay, so now we have it all the way around. So that will go over the head. Do you see what I mean? So the longer you make that original chain, the longer your either cowl or infinity scarf will be. So this is where it kind of gets a little bit confusing. Hopefully, I kind of wish I had a different color yarn to show you this on, but I'll turn around again. So this is what you have. This is what it looks like. So now what you're going to do is you're going to keep doing that same stitch, but you're going to go over, and then now you're going to go through all, see this? Just pull all of these. So there's 4. So you're going to go through this whole top part that you just stitched. Does that make sense? There should be, yeah, I don't know how to explain this. You're going to go through that hole. So you're going to make a hole right there with your finger. So you're going to do yarn over. Here's that hole. Go through the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Alright, let's do that again. Okay, so we're going to do that again. Oh, that's focused better. So we're going to do yarn over, stick your finger through that hole, go through the hole, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through all 3. Yarn over, stick your hole through there, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over. Am I like yelling into the microphone? My voice is so abrasive that I could never be one of those like PBS craft women, because I don't have a calm enough voice. I'm so loud. Okay, so pull through 3. Do you kind of get that? So this is kind of what it'll look like. Don't worry, it'll look better as you go. So I'm just gonna yarn over, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're just gonna keep doing that all the way around. Again, whoops, see, I lost that. Again, make sure not to go through the hole that you just did. You're gonna go to the next one. If you do it on this one, it's gonna get too crowded. So make sure you go to the next hole over, okay? Again, if you have a mistake or it doesn't look like it's right, just pull your yarn out and go back and redo it, because it doesn't take, it's not a big deal. Yarn over, find that hole, go through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, all three. One more time, yarn over, find your hole, go through, yarn over, pull through that first one, yarn over, pull through all three. Whoops, Sam caught. So you're going to do that all the way around. So I'm going to do that all the way around real quick, because that way you don't have to keep staring at my ugly hands. I have like old woman hands. They're so wrinkly. I need to drink more water. That's what I need to do. Oh man, this video is long, guys. I'm sorry. And if you have any questions, I would say contact me, but I'm probably not the best person, because this is how I explain stuff. So if you can't understand it from here, I don't know what else I can do. There are a lot of great reference videos, though. Just Google, you know, crocheting, half double stitch crochet or crochet stitch. But yeah, so we're going to go around. Okay guys, so I want to show you, I've gone around, I'm almost, as you can see, here's the beginning tail. I'm almost back to where I started from, but as you can see, my yarn has ended. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take another ball. Like I said, these are remnants, these are little mini balls that are left over that I'm showing you guys on. I'm going to take another ball of yarn, take the end off, and then I'm going to tie a knot. And then don't worry about the knot, because you're going to hide away the tails with the tie a knot, and then just keep going. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So here's where I have this knot now. See that? I'm just going to ignore it, and I'm just going to keep going about my business, pulling that through. So we're almost back to the beginning, which it gets easier from here on out, trust me. And I say that because it really actually does. But again, if you don't get this stitch or understand how to do this right off the bat, don't get frustrated. It seriously took me 2 days of doing, like, obsessively knitting or crocheting before I could finally, like, understand how to do it. So don't feel bad. Just because the video says it's supposed to be easy does not always mean it's easy. So, okay, so now we've already gotten back to the beginning. See that? There's the beginning original tail. And this is kind of what it's turning out like. Isn't that pretty? Again, because it's a different thread, it looks different, but similar at the same time. So you're just going to keep going around and around and around and around until you feel like it's the thickness of cowl or scarf that you want. Like I said, do you see how this is kind of like curving in like this? This is our original chain. The tighter you make this, the tighter it's going to be, because, and then the looser the other side's going to be. So you really want to make sure to make that chain loose so you have an even. Do you get what I mean? So that it's even and it's not like looser on one side, it's shorter on the other. So that's really important. It's not as important with a cowl because it kind of lays funny, but it is really important when it comes to a scarf because it's going to look really just uneven. So remember, do not make that original chain super tight, okay? Just make sure to just like let it be a little bit loose. Don't worry about what it looks like. And again, I'm like repeating myself 1,000 times because this is just super important. When I first started crocheting, I really was concerned with the way that the crocheter was, like the style, like the way her hands were moving. And that's not something you need to worry about because I spent so much time concentrating on that like my stitches were all wrong. And I was like, why can't I look like that lady who's doing it? Don't worry about how fast you're going. Don't worry about the style of the way my hands are moving right now. Don't worry about your hands looking that way. Just worry about getting the stitch right. Even if you have, this is how I started out, guys. I started, hold on. I started literally just, I didn't know even how to hold anything. I was like this, so, but you know, you just wrap around. See the hole right here. Again, don't do this hole because this one's already got a stitch through it. The next hole is what you want. But, you know, I started doing this and like pulling and then wrapping and then pulling. And then, oh no, I went through the thread. So I had to undo it, go back, get to that one stitch, pull tight, you know. So I don't know how to explain it. I just know that I started like I didn't have like a technique at first. So my point is just don't worry about the way it looks. Just worry about getting your stitches right. Again, if it looks wrong, just pull out your thread or your yarn and just start over again. It's not that big of a deal. Or just start from where it started looking wrong. Like sometimes if you're going around and there's like a weird, it just looks funny. Like there's I don't know how to explain it without doing it. I don't know. It should look uniformed all the way around. So it should look like this little waffle knit on both sides if you do it right. If it doesn't look like that, then you're doing something wrong. It means that you're not going through the hole all the way, maybe. I don't know how to explain it. Just keep at it. The practice makes perfect, just like anything else, and it just takes time to learn, and it takes time to do it. I already had a basis and a background, which is why I think I picked it up so quickly. And when I say quickly, I mean I stayed up for 2 days straight, like in the middle of the night, crocheting my butt off. So in like normal people time, that would have been like a week, but I'm a little obsessive compulsive, and when I start a project, I get really obsessed, as you guys know. So yeah, it just takes time. When people say that things are easy or it's for beginners, I really think that they mean that if you already have a background in crocheting, because it was not easy, and I don't think it was for a beginner. Either that or maybe I'm just dumb, but it took me forever to learn. So I'm going to keep crocheting this around until I get a few more inches thick, and then I will show you how to finish off your cowl or your scarf. And hopefully I explained this well enough. I don't know, guys. This is why I don't do tutorials, because I don't know. Maybe if I had a different camera view, it would be a little bit better too, but the GoPro, I tried it on my head, and my head kept moving, and it was just wobbly, and when I looked back at the, like, footage, it made me, like, seasick. So, seasick, motion sick is what I meant. So yeah, so I'm going to keep going around and around and around, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I'm at the end of my little mini roll almost, so I thought this would be a good place to stop my little, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's just going to be nothing. But this is what it looks like. This is about, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is about 7 times around. But as you can see, maybe you can, maybe you can't. We are back to where we started. So this is that first original tail where we connected both the ends to make the link. So I am almost to where I started. I'm going to scoot a little bit closer to you. Okay, so as you can see, this width is like thinner than this, because what we want to do is we want to end almost exactly across from the tail. So this, we want to end across. So we want to end right here. So that way it's the same width all the way around. So I'm almost there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to end this project. So I'm going to do my usual stitch that we've been doing all the way around. Over, pull through 1, pull through all 3 so I can get there. Still not there yet. So do one more. Over, go through, over, pull through, over, pull through. Okay, are we about close? Maybe one more. Over, pull through, over, pull through, over, pull through. Alright, so we are directly across from this tail. So, now what we're going to do, I don't want to just end it right here, else there's going to be this weird, like, hump. So what we're going to do is we're going to just do a single, so we're going to go through the hole. We're not going to do this. We're just going to go through the hole, yarn over, we're going to pull through that yarn over, pull through that yarn, and then we're going to do that one more time. Pull over, yarn over, or sorry, we're going to go through the hole, yarn over, pull through, and then pull through 2 of them, And then we're just going to end it right there. So then we're going to just pull this one. We're not going to yarn over, just pull that one through that hole. And then we're left with that. Did that make sense to everybody? Yes? No? Maybe? See? So now we're ended. So I'm going to hold my hook in there. I'm going to find my trusty scissors. And I'm just going to cut it, I don't know. I'm just going to cut it right there. So now I'm going to take this and then I'm going to just pull it through that hole. Whoop! And then we have this. So it's not in a knot right now, so I'm going to knot it. I don't know. Everybody's got their different preferences on how to knot. I don't really know the correct way to make a knot. What I usually do is I go through this little hole next to it. See it right there? I usually pull my yarn through there and then keep a loop and then just kind of tie a knot around it. But again, I don't think that's the correct way to do it. I just do it that way. So, I don't know. I don't know. You can knot it off however you want. If you want to go look at a tutorial on how to knot, maybe that would be better because following what I'm saying probably isn't the greatest idea. But that's just the way I do it. So that's what it looks like. Each tail is on each side, so it's pretty even. And then what we're going to do is, actually you probably should have cut this a little bit longer. I don't know why I cut it so short, but if you left it longer, then what you would do is you would take your weaving needle, or knitting needle, or crocheting needle. It looks like this. Basically it's a plastic oversized just sewing needle, but it's got a big hole, so you would put your tail in here and then you would just stitch it through these stitches and then it would hide the tail completely. So you'll do that to any tail sticking out for whatever reason. And then you just stretch it to make it whatever size, you know, to make it a little bit, if you wanted the holes to look bigger, stretch it out like this. And just bunch it, do whatever you want. But that's what it looks like. See those nice little holes? Can't really see. So then that's what it looks like. Pretty. Both sides look the same. But yeah, so maybe, I don't know, looks like a little head warmer. Can I wear it as a head warmer? I don't know. Oh, I think it's too big to do a head warmer. There we go. Doesn't really stay on my head. But, so there's my tutorial. I am so sorry that it's like, I don't know. I don't even know if I explained it right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Just Google crocheting for beginners. But that's the only way that I know how to explain it. But again, the longer you do your chain in the beginning, the longer it'll be round-wise. So for a scarf, you want it really long. If you want to loop twice, or 3 times, I would do about 70 inches, 72 inches, depending on how tall you are. If you want to be able to loop it like only twice, maybe 50 inches. For a cowl, I don't know. I think this cowl I did, again, I think it was like 3 feet, 3.5 feet. But yeah, so just when you're doing your chain, just measure it around your neck to see how long you want it. And then however wide you do it, just keep going round, around, around, and then you'll eventually get this. If you wanted to do an open scarf, like you didn't want it to be linked around, just when we took the chain ends and linked them, just don't do that. Instead, just turn it around on itself and then just go up and down. Did that make sense? But yeah, I hope you guys, I'm burping. But yeah, I hope you guys have fun. Don't stress yourselves out too much if it doesn't turn out the way that you like it. Again, just unravel it and restart over. Don't get frustrated, because I think that's the worst thing, is when you get frustrated and then you just give up when you're right on the cusp. Like, you don't even know it, but you're right on the cusp of getting the hang of it, and then you just give up. I've done that so many times with projects. But yeah, so that is I think it's called a half double stitch. I am not sure. If I did it wrong and there's some crochet professional out there saying you did it wrong, I don't really care. I like the way it looks. I don't care. I just do this for fun. My terminology was way off. I don't know what I was even saying, so hopefully you understood by just watching my fingers and hands. But yes, if you want, I will perfect the double stitch, which is what this little short cowl is. It's like looks like a waffly kind of stitch, and then maybe make a video about that depending on how many people understood this tutorial, because if nobody understood this tutorial, then there's no point for me to waste my time or you to waste your time watching. So yeah, and then this afghan is actually not either of the stitches that I just showed you. This is just, I believe, a single. I could be wrong, but this is 6 strand. It is really heavy. I'm sweating. So maybe I'll teach you how to make an afghan too next. Those are really simple. And when I say really simple, I mean really simple. I'm doing it again, aren't I? It's really simple to a person who already knows how to kind of crochet. But yeah, I'm going to let you guys go because now I'm babbling. Let me know what you guys do. If you guys, I mean, somebody already posted a picture of their scarf that they started on Instagram and tagged me, and I just love seeing pictures from people. So if you want to post to my Facebook or on Instagram or make a video and let me know that you made a video, awesome. Let me know because I love seeing other people's scarves. I'm working on a cowl for my niece. She asked for a bright yellow cowl like the sun. Luckily, Lion Brand had that. I'm working on a few for some friends, and then of course some more for me. I want to make an olive green one because I made one, but I gave it to my sister-in-law because she really liked it. But I just made a huge order. If you guys want to know, I really like Lion Brand. I use Hometown USA because it's got the largest amount of color choices. Most of Hometown USA yarns are 100% acrylic, which I think is the best all around weather-wise, and like you can wash it and it's really durable. It's soft. Problem with wool, I like wool blends, which these are actually all wool blends. I believe these are the Wool Ease is what I used for all of my scarves, but the problem with wool blends is that some people are allergic to wool and some people don't like them because they find them itchy. So acrylic's a good way to go, I think. They're not as warm though as wool. Wool is super warm. I love it. I wear scarves all day long every day of winter because my house is kind of on the drafty side. And scarves, I think, are just a good way to stay warm without having to wear a coat. So I love my scarves. If you guys like think I'm being weird about like making so many for myself, it's just because I love scarves. So you can pretty much make a scarf even full price. If you use like Lion Brand, you can probably make one for about $17. And again, it took me about 2 hours to make a full infinity scarf, and it took me about an hour to make this cowl. But again, I've been doing it for a while. I've stayed up all night long, 2 days, just to learn how to do it. So I am obsessive. I am a freak. Please do not take my example and run with it because I just don't, there's something wrong with me. But I will let you go because now I'm rambling and this video is like an hour long. Have fun crocheting and good luck. Bye. Oh, I also wanted to mention that if you are making these for kids, like some of you guys saw the pictures of the cowls that I made for Kaya, remember it is still something that goes around their neck. It is still a choking hazard. So be careful. Make sure to, you know, keep your kid under supervision. Don't just let them run around with it on their neck. But yeah, just forewarning. It is still, you know, a choking hazard, so be careful. But that's it. Have great holidays. I'll let you go. Bye.